I'm going to do something a little different here. I'm going to try something, do kind of like a little highlight video, a little highlight reel I put together. This took more effort than I thought to put this together. So we'll see if it works. If you guys like it, let me know, and I'll continue to do it as we go along. If you don't like it, let me know. It'll save me some time. So let's go ahead and jump in. In case you missed it, here's your weekend recap. The ACO visited Tupelo, Mississippi this past weekend for another major. In women's, Kim Jackson, formerly known as Kim Dice, was in the Queen's seat facing Kelsey Heitert. Kim was throwing the CBC Ronins. Kelsey was throwing the State 31 Dexters. Here in game one, Kelsey had an impressive 10.22 PPR versus Kim's 9.78. Kim just missed an airmail drag to stay alive and keep the game going. Then on to game two, Kelsey stayed hot with a 10.47 PPR versus Kim's 9.71. Kim came up just a little short as Kelsey got the double dip for the win. On to seniors, Daryl Macon was in the king seat throwing the elite in the 1839s. Johnny Thomas was going for the double dip with his Killer Bees Armites. In game one, Daryl had a 9.15 PPR, but it just wasn't enough as Johnny cleaned up for his 9.92 PPR. Game two, Daryl stepped it up with a 9.5 PPR, and Johnny dropped down to a 9 PPR and just couldn't hit the shots when he needed to. Give Daryl the win. In juniors, Bryce Jefferson was looking to double dip Chase Hollis. Bryce was throwing the CBC elixirs, and Chase was tossing the TNT tantrums. In game one, Bryce hit the huge airmail to post a solid 9.23 PPR. Chase just couldn't push through the pile and fell short with an 8.15 PPR. Give Bryce the win in game one. Now into game two, things got real dirty as Bryce bar-of-soaped himself and fell to an 8 PPR, while Chase did just enough with an 8.56 PPR to take the win. Now let's head over to doubles, where Ashton Watkins and Chase Hollis were in the king seat throwing the TNT tantrums. Zach Dawson and Colby Baskins were hoping to take 2 games with their elite 1839s. In game one, Chase struggled with pushing through the mess on the board, but Zach was not having any problems. With Zach and Colby taking down the first game, we headed to game two. Now, I believe this is round 9, and Ashton has a chance to close it out as Colby misses the airmail. Ashton decides to play it safe with the back blocker here, but Colby doesn't miss the second time. And with the board showing a 7-on-3 and Ashton being on the losing side of that, he decides to put his last bag on just to stay alive. And that 3 points ties the score at 20. So we go on to round 10. And here in round 10, neither player can afford a miss. Zach lays down a beautiful blocker, but Chase misses the roll and leaves that bag out of play. All Zach has to do is stay down the middle. He keeps it a little interesting, though, by not trying to collect that blocker until his fourth bag. But he has no problems collecting it, and Zach and Colby collect the winner's checks. Lastly, we have singles, where Josh Holland, yes, that Josh Holland, former ACL pro Josh Holland, is in the king seat, throwing the LaBelle Rage. First time I've heard of that bag. Hope I got the name right there. And then his opponent, Bryce Jefferson, was throwing the CBC elixirs. The championship game lasted 10 rounds, and Bryce posted a solid 8.8 PPR. However, Josh, who was on fire the entire singles event, I don't think he lost a single game, posted an unbelievable 11 PPR over those 10 rounds. Although the final score was 21-0, Bryce has nothing to be ashamed about. Josh was on a mission to prove that he's back, and he proved it without a doubt. Good to see Josh back on top. Now let's head over to Hamilton, Ohio, and check on the ACL's Open number 4. This was a shootout or round limited format, so you didn't have to beat your opponent. You just had to outlast them. This is the final round here in the women's division between Elizabeth Tennyson and Caitlin Allhouse. Both ladies were tossing the BG Wizard L's. Elizabeth had the lead here, so a wash is a win for her. Caitlin needed to score at least 1 point to extend the game, or 2 plus points to win it. It was a close battle, with Elizabeth shooting a 9.86 versus Caitlin's 9.79. And Caitlin has a push here for the win with her last bag, but misses a bit to the left. Congrats to Elizabeth Tennyson for taking down the women's title. In seniors, Donald Cupp was in the king seat throwing the Sub-Zero Tempest. Damon Dennis needed a double dip with his Game Changer evolutions with the 2.5 patch, I believe. In the last round, Damon needed to score at least 3 points. He places a solid blocker, which is unusual for Damon, but he did a great job with it. And Donald doesn't need to do anything crazy. Again, a wash is a win in round limited formats. And after Damon misses the airmail, it's over. Damon shot an impressive 9.21 in the championship game, but it wasn't enough to beat Donald's 9.71 PPR. In the juniors division, we have Jacob Gore in the King's seat throwing the AAR Rippers versus Logan Dupler throwing the BG Wizard L. Neither of these games were close, which was disappointing. I was hoping to see a competitive game or two. In game one here, Logan was in complete control with a 10.29 PPR versus Jacob's 9.93. And Logan was in the lead when the rounds ran out. Unfortunately for Logan, he had to win 2 games. And in game 2, Jacob dominated. Jacob shot a 10.5 to Logan's 8.42. And Jacob didn't need all the rounds as he put up 21 points to close it out. Now we head to the main events. I'll start in doubles where Levi Haddock and Logan Dupler held the king seat throwing the BG Wizard L's. They were facing Jimmy Humans and Ian Cripps and their all cornhole aura bags. This was round 9, and it was a round that I believe decided the game. Jimmy and Ian were up 4 points and just needed to hold on for 4 rounds to win it. Logan placed a great blocker, and Jimmy back blocked. Logan still had a somewhat clean lane to the hole where Jimmy didn't. Jimmy is one of the best air mailers in the game, but here he missed 3 straight to give up 9 points. They went from being up 4 points to down 5 and never recovered. Levi and Logan are your doubles champions for Open number 4. And lastly, we have singles. Jacob Trzynski and his AAR Rippers were sitting in the king's seat. Eric Davis brought his Lucky Pro Sniper Elites, hoping to win too. Here we are in round 10 with Eric down a single point. He has an opportunity to take the lead here, but he just can't seem to find the hole. He continues to miss to the left. Thankfully for Eric, Jacob is struggling as well. Eric has a chance with his final bag to put it in for the wash and move on, only down 1. But Eric tries to collect his bags and ends up shanking it off the board. We've all been there, Eric. We can all relate with you. This was the round that decided the game. Jacob went into the final round with a 5-point lead, and in round limited, you don't have to win it, you just have to outlast your opponent. And that's what Jacob did as he walked away with the singles championship. And that's the weekend recap. I hope you enjoyed that. I didn't cover every event, everything that went on over the weekend for both leagues. I kind of touched or highlighted what I thought were the more important sections of it. Love to hear your feedback. If you like that, if you enjoyed that, want me to continue to do that as the seasons go on. If you don't, let me know that as well. Either way, I'm fine. Just looking for some feedback on that. I thank you guys so much for your support, and I thank you for watching.